You're listening to Literally First Class, the podcast for female founders behind multi-million-dollar brands and businesses. I'm your host, Keri Ford, creative director turned 3-time award-winning coach, real estate investor, mom, and the one-on-one private advisor for multi-7- and 8-figure firms. If you're ready to make your next million, expand your impact, and lead with even more confidence, you're in the right place. Let's take your life and business first class.
This episode is a little bit more of a business and personal update. And I love keeping you guys up to date on happenings and current things because there's just been so much amazingness happening in my world. There's been other things that have been challenging too, and I can't talk about one of them yet because it has like legal stuff involved. It happened at the end of last year, and all I will say is that it involved our Airbnb burning down on Thanksgiving Day, which was devastating to say the least. So I'll share more about that when I can. Right now, I can't really talk about it. But otherwise, as sad as that was, holy crow, the trajectory of this year is like, guys, it's insane. I have 3 goals this year: visibility, reach, and impact. And those of you listening, just to give you an idea of what the difference even is between those, is visibility is getting more eyeballs on you, right? Reach is connecting with the right audience, and impact is the level of transformation in the people's lives that you touch, the businesses and the people behind them that you literally transform from the inside out. And all 3 of those things are happening at warp speed. And, I do upper limit work, breakthrough work, somatic work for a living. I love and live this stuff. And nobody's immune to it because you know what the funny part is? We all have a nervous system. So I'm like, ooh, is this too fast? And I'm like, that's an upper limit. So I was like, nope. And I could literally feel my body, whenever something felt like it was happening too fast, want to lean back. And I just kept choosing to lean forward like 1 degree. I'm just going to lean in a little bit more. I'm going to pretend like that thing is right here, right now in front of me. I can hold it, I can grasp it, I can touch it, and stay with it for a moment and just practice that somatically. And it's helped a lot. I've really enjoyed that as a practice. So if that, is for you, then take it, run with it, use it, because it's been super helpful. But a couple projects I can't talk about yet. Those are good projects. It's not about the house burning down. A couple of them I can't talk about yet, because they haven't been finalized. It involves other people. But one big change that feels very bittersweet is I will be leaving the Operation Podcast production house and family. And it really has been a family. I have some good friends that are part of this podcast production house. My friend Ruben Rojas, who I've been friends with for years. Holy crow, I think we met back in 2009, something like that. Went on like a ski trip. And now he's married to this amazing woman named Z, and he has a cool podcast through Operation Podcast. Chase Tuning, who runs Operation Podcast, so forever grateful for you. Just an amazing group of people. My friend Amber Shaw was the one that introduced me to Chase. So I am sad to be leaving Operation Podcast. And I'm really excited about what's to come because what I've decided is really fucking cool. And I'm not going to tell you what the decision is yet. But back when I started this, I signed the contract, I think it was August of 2022, when I launched Literally First Class. I've always known the name. I always knew this was the name I wanted for the podcast. It just makes sense. It's very me, if you know me. And even if you hear me or followed me for any length of time, you know that it's very me. But what I set out to create when I started the podcast was something that was doable and consistent. I was working through my own visibility blocks, and I knew that I wanted to do something that would have me create a body of work over a long period of time. Now, in that season, I also was simultaneously creating and developing a program that we call the Millionaire Mindset Meditation Program. And so it took me 2 years to record 86 meditations inside that program. I mean, these meditations range from like 5 minutes to like 20-ish minutes. I mean, none of them, I don't think really any of them go over 25. They're all about daily short meditations that you can actually do for female founders that want to elevate in leadership, elevate in wealth, that want to have more peace and less anxiety. And so I use like somatic affirmations and manifestation and next level visions to do that inside the meditations. Anyway, I would cluster record them. And that's what works really well for me in terms of my energetic systems. And that is a system that I use and created for my schedule throughout the week. Like for me, I need a big sandbox to play in. If I know on a Tuesday, that's my content creation day. If I know on a Tuesday, I've got a call at 11 o'clock on the books and a call at 2 o'clock on the books, for whatever reason, it makes me feel like the day is all staccato. I need one open day completely to just do content. And then once I'm in front of the mic or the camera, I'm in flow, and I could film like 6 podcasts or 6 meditations, right? I could do that. I could film a module. So I can flush it out. But it's like arriving to that place, right? What I've learned is arriving to that place or getting out of that flow state and back in is the hard part. So over 2 years, I filmed and recorded these 86 meditations. They're amazing and women love them. And we've had hundreds of women come through that program. And I wanted to do the same with the podcast. And so I asked myself, what is actually doable? Like, what is really doable? What am I actually going to commit to, right? And be successful at? And it was solo episodes, anywhere from like 3 minutes to like 25 minutes. Again, I really wanted something that was short, impactful, and wouldn't let me off the hook in terms of commitment. And so if it was short, it was short. Like if I only had 3 minutes that week in terms of an idea or something I wanted to share, then that's all I needed. But that's what was going to keep me consistent, because otherwise what happens, as most of you know, people set out to create a podcast and then they go through the dreaded pod fade. We call it the pod fade in the podcast community. And this is where literally someone does like 10 episodes and then they never do an episode again. They just fade out. The top podcasts are just doing consistent recordings every single week. They just stay in the game. That is it. They just stay in it. Now, is every podcast that has consistent body of work gonna flourish and be in the top 1%? No, not everyone can be in the top 1%, or it wouldn't be the 1%. That doesn't make sense. But be consistent is the point, right? It's a body of work. And now I've created this whole body of work where I could send podcasts to people that need help, that want a resource or even a client. So I send podcasts to clients. I send them to non-clients. I answer questions for free from our Facebook group because I truly want this to be super valuable. Now, to start, that wasn't it. Like, that wasn't the goal. It wasn't to not have value. It was, again, to move through visibility blocks and let you get to know me more. That was my goal the first, year and a half that I had the podcast. And you've seen a transition when we did a relaunch, right? We recently did a rebrand and a relaunch. We have new graphics and a new vibe. We're speaking very specifically to the 1% woman that I love working with. And it's elevated. It really has. The podcasts are much more tactical. They're more strategy heavy. They're more, how-to driven, if you will. And the other version of the podcast, like version 1.0, the tagline was less fucks, more fun. It was about letting my hair down, letting you see behind the scenes, like who I am, how I be in the world, because I like to swear and I'm spiritual. I love makeup. My hair is wildly curly, but I also love extensions. Like, I love Neville Goddard. And if you've never heard of him, there's a reason why, because it's super specific and he's got a very specific message. I'm not mainstream with some of that stuff, and I'm a little bit quirky. Like, I'm kind of this like cheerleader geek, and I love biology, and I'm a bit of a juxtaposition. So I brought you into that world, and we talked about everything from the Curly Hair Chronicles to, gosh, what were some other episodes that we did? I mean, we talked a lot about leaf blowers because they really love to show up when I'm recording. But the episodes were funny, they were fresh, and they were doable. You know, people really got to know me, and that was great for version 1.0. Version 2.0 has been upgraded, and I'm super excited to announce that I am moving over to Follow Up Media. My buddy Christian Lee works for The Burt Show here in Atlanta and Nashville, which is millions and millions of listeners tune into that show on the local radio station here in the Southeast. And he's brilliant. He's very energetic. He is smart. He knows media. And one of the best parts about this is I'll be moving to my own studio for the first time ever. Like, I've recorded several podcasts over the years where I've been interviewed in studios, or I've been on set. I've spent many an hour, many a day on set, whether I was doing creative direction when I worked in advertising in New York, where I was on set behind the camera, not in front of the camera, art directing photo shoots with like Denise Austin and Karina Smirnoff. I also spent a lot of time behind the scenes with other celebrities doing things when I was in the fitness world in Hollywood, California. But I always secretly wished that I was in front of the camera. And so what's really exciting about this is it's finally here. Like, the whole reason I started this was to work through that visibility block of allowing myself to feel safe being seen. And in the past, when I've let myself be seen, or at least it's felt this way, right? Like my nervous system, it's felt like I put a target on my back. Like it's dangerous to be who I am, that by being who I am and by simply existing, I trigger people. And you know what? That hasn't actually changed, but I am okay with it now. I am okay owning my voice, and I am okay upsetting people, and I'm okay being misunderstood because I know my heart. I know the posture of me, and my intention behind everything is love. It's to help people. That's why I got started in this. It's not about me. It's about you and everybody else that listens to this. So I'm excited that I get to be the vessel and feel safe enough in front of the camera to be more of that for you. So Follow Up Media is going to be the new production house, and we're going to be filming in person. This is going to be a new thing. So although I do cluster production, if you will, like record several episodes all at once in my home, I started out doing video, and then we stopped doing that for a while just because I was reevaluating the direction. And I talked to my buddy Kaylee, and he reached out to me recently and was like, hey, I know we chatted about you wanting to film in studio. I have officially created a studio, and I want to bring you into the network. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. As of March, you'll start seeing video. We're going to start posting on our YouTube channel. I'm excited. So it's a big announcement. Again, it's a bittersweet farewell to the Operation Podcast family. They helped me launch this bad boy. They helped me grow and be consistent. And I got to be connected to some amazing, incredible people, which I know I'll continue to be connected to. And I'm ready. I'm ready to be in front of the camera and put full episodes up, which is insane. And plan the cute outfits and be on set and give you guys even more value in different ways. I mean, at the core of it, you could still listen to the audios. That's not going to change, but it's just going to elevate the whole thing and really feel like a live show, which I'm excited about. And then speaking of live shows, this past month in January, we did our first official Founders Roundtable, which is our monthly virtual live show. Now, there's some caveats to that. It's a free virtual show, but last year we did 2 leadership roundtables, we called them, and they were an upgrade. You had to buy your ticket to get in the room. They were really intimate, and I tried it out. It was like kind of our version of like trying this concept out. And I realized I just love bringing women together. I love amplifying their voices. I love giving my clients a platform to speak on. I love bringing incredible humans together, other women that need to know each other to network and support each other. And I love hearing how different people approach different topics and how their view and their expertise like gets to be heard in the world in a different way, because that might resonate for somebody, right? Like maybe the way I say it isn't landing for somebody, but the way they say it is. Anyway, so we started this Founders Roundtable. Now it is specifically for 7, 8, and 9-figure female founders. And the reason is this: it's not some mean girls like, you're not cool if you don't make 7 figures. It's because literally there just are different challenges and different conversations that happen at that level. You likely have high overhead. You likely have a bigger team. You have a certain amount of years in the business of whatever you do in the industry that you're in. Like, it's very different than just like, oh, it's for anybody, or you're just starting out and you're trying to like work through, you know, the first part of money mindset, or you're trying to put in like and establish like systems for the first time. Like, it's just very different when you already have an established company, brand, and like corner of the market, if you will. So these conversations are closed door right now. We'll record them, but I have not released and don't plan to, at least right now, the replays. And so when you click and register to be part of it, you'll be asked a couple questions that just verify your income, so that you can be part of this. And we make sure that you're in the right room. I don't want people to be there like, this doesn't apply to me, because you're not going to get value out of it. Truly, you won't. It'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So the next one we're doing is in March. I will let you know when that happens. But you can think of it kind of like the virtual version of our Champagne Club. Champagne Club is literally almost sold out. I mean, honestly, this episode will be coming out in a couple weeks because I'm doing like batch recording right now. So by the time this launches, we won't even have tickets left for the February 22nd event. But the next one we have in Atlanta is May 3rd. And yes, you need to get your ticket like right now. Tickets sold for May and October last October. This is the first time ever. And I've been doing events, challenges, workshops, masterclasses for years. This is the first time we have had people buy tickets that far in advance for something. Some people bought all 3 tickets for all 3 events this year, last year. So I have limited capacity. That's not some like, fake urgency crap. I have limited capacity because I've booked the actual private suites at each restaurant for each date this year. So it's February 22nd here in Atlanta. Then we have May 3rd. I can have up to 40 people for that one. I don't have the exact head count, but you should be good for that. And then October 11th in Miami, a little bit smaller again, 30 spots, but I already have tickets that have sold for that, and I have a ton of verbal yeses, which doesn't really mean much until people buy tickets. But, those tickets are already selling is my point, and here we are at the beginning of 2025. So if the Champagne Club dinner events, the one-day event that I do, is on your heart, stop putting one day on your vision board, blah, blah, blah. Like, book your ticket, decide which one you're going to do, and plan your itinerary and your schedule around it. Like, we're all busy. We all have things, but, the event is going to sell out, and then you're going to wish that you bought your ticket rather than wait till last minute. And I don't want you to miss out if you know that you're supposed to be in that room. Here's what's really cool. As soon as you buy your ticket, you're added into our private members VIP group. It's a private Facebook group. I know you're like, oh, not another Facebook group. But it's the only place that I find that organizes people and information and stuff really well. And it's cool because then you get to continue your networking, or you get to advance your networking. Like, the women in that group are insane. I have surgeons, I have chiropractors, real estate investors, luxury artists, like healers, psilocybin experts, shamans. I mean, we could start our own country. I'm not kidding. It is insane. Fashion stylists, global wellness experts, the talent, the experience, the collective warmth that you will feel from this group is unlike any other room. Truly. There's no cattiness. It's a sit with us kind of group. I don't have a financial pre-qualifier for it. You'll know if you're meant to be in the room. You will. And it's a beautiful experience. We start the day with a somatic leadership workshop, which means it's a breakthrough workshop. It's 3 hours long each day. Like each event has its own theme. So this next one is all about unmuting your power, getting noticed, and getting paid to break through visibility, ironically, which is really cool, to feel safe being visible. And the one in May, I believe, is health and wealth. And then I'm forgetting what the one in October is. Sometimes I wait to decide as we get closer. But know that it's going to be good. It's going to serve you in some capacity if you're a female founder, investor, executive, and you're on any kind of growth trajectory and journey. Like, this is for you. And then we have a break, and then we have a sit-down dinner. And it's really beautiful. Everyone wears sparkles and sequins and like their best, most fun, bougiest gold dress ever. The dress code for October is pretty strict. It's formal. So gowns and all the luxury is welcome. And it's just a really fun excuse to get dressed up with amazing, incredibly smart women. And who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to like elevate their friend circle? So those links for the Champagne Club will be below. Founders Roundtable, we're not ready yet to launch that for registration for our March lineup. But I'm really excited about that because I'm already booked for speakers on the first half of the year. Every single woman I asked to be a speaker for the first 6 months of this roundtable has said yes. And we're starting to fill the back half. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you're excited about this. It's going to be cool to like see. I mean, I won't see you on camera, but you'll see me on video. You'll see me on YouTube. You'll get to see the full video, and all of my animated funny faces that I make because I'm quite animated. And, yeah, it's like a big deal. It's really fun. And I can't wait to take you along for the ride in first class. Doesn't it feel like we're like all in first class? We're having a party together. I love it. But you know what's really cool too? This is what I'll leave you with as we bring this in for a landing. But now that I have a studio I'll be recording out of, if I decide to do guests, because that was something I wasn't doing consistently, and I don't know that I want to get into that fully yet. I want to get this up and running, but I could branch out and start to have people fly in to be on set with me and record, which is going to be really fun because there's just nothing like those in-person connections and conversations. And to give people more of a platform that need to be heard, or maybe connect with people that, you know, me and that person need to have a conversation that y'all need to hear, whatever that is. So there's a lot of beautiful things unfolding. It does feel fast, but luckily I got it down. I know this, my sabotage patterns. I know what my upper limits sound like, and I'm just so grateful for this work. And if you want help with that, you know, let me know. We've got tons of resources in our playbook, and you can go to the Waterfall. You could download that. It literally shows you how to identify an upper limit and move through it. But yeah, I can't wait. I'll see you on set, I think, for the next episode. So stay tuned and keep it first class.
Thanks for tuning in to Literally First Class. If today's episode inspired you, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps us reach even more incredible women like you who are ready to level up, lead with impact, and make first-class moves. I'll see you in the next episode, but until then, keep dreaming big and taking bold action.